Hello and welcome. In this video demonstration, we will talk about FortiSOAR 7.0 release and its main highlights. Let's quickly jump into the demonstration, and first up, we will talk about the AI-based recommendation engine. So we are into the settings of the recommendation engine, and as you can see here, machine learning based clustering has been enabled and powers the recommendation engine now. So you can see that it provides multiple ways or multiple parameters that you can train the models for. You can also interestingly choose multiple algorithms if you would want to. We will quickly see how it feeds into the analyst's daily life. First, let's look into the connectors and how the data ingestion gets powered by it. So we are into our connector store, 300 plus connector store that FortiSOAR promises today. And we will look into the FortiSIM connector and look at how the ingestion is powered by the recommendation engine, right? So this is the very visual, very wizard-oriented data ingestion wizard that FortiSOAR has. Here we are talking about what configurations, what type of data we would want to ingest from FortiSIM, and the next step would be to pull a sample data and do the mapping. Here is the data that has been pulled for us, the sample that has been pulled, and quickly we will look at the assigned to field. So the assigned to field, as you see, I have filtered on that field, is basically a field which determines which analyst in your team do you want to assign the report, the incoming threat, incoming alert to, right? So here we will leverage something which you would now see is about auto-populating it. Now, auto-populate is powered by the recommendation engine such that it automatically assigns the value to this particular field. In this case, the analyst, the suitable analyst to this field based on the past investigation history, the past pattern of which analysts are more suitable for what type of alerts, right? So it determines that automatically and does the right assignment for you. So it's a very, very handy use case right away to handle your assignments, right? Not only that, you can go ahead and predict the severity. You can predict multiple other fields as in when required in your use cases. So that is one way to leverage the AI power that lies in the product. The another way to look at it is similar alerts part of the story. So let's open one of the alerts. Let's see the malware detected on multiple hosts. Now same alert coming from FortiSIM, a critical alert which has been escalated as you see into an incident. On the right hand side, notice that there is a recommendation engine powered recommendation panel. So the recommendations panel is a very handy view that the analyst gets into field suggestions and similar records. As you can see, it predicts or suggests which analyst should the record assigned to. In this case, I have the option to choose or reject the suggestion. Apart from that, there is a list of similar records, ranked list of similar records that it suggests to me, right? So it is very handy to give me an idea about the overall, the campaign that is going on. That is a possible campaign that might be underneath, right? So maybe a phishing alert, leading to a malware alert, leading to a lateral movement, right? So all of that story presented to me based on the underlying similarity. Now it could be indicator based, it could be based out of the assets, right? It could be anything. The system is intelligent enough to understand and predict the story to me. Very handy. Okay, now since we are at this screen, you would also notice that there is a tag that mentions that, hey, this alert is now under investigation in a war room. So that gives us a very good point into understanding the another big highlight of this release, the crisis management using war rooms, right? So let's take this story itself. Since we are at this screen, it's a malware detected on multiple hosts. The alert has been escalated into an incident and now is being investigated into a war room. So let's quickly jump into the war room where this is being investigated in. There you have the shining new crisis management solution that has been added to the product. So the war room, as you would see, this alert is being investigated into. Let's quickly run through what does it provide us. Let's start from the info center itself. It gives us the information, high-level information of, who has launched it, what is my conference bridge that I can use, My team can do a huddle. There are options of using the integrations with Zoom, Slack, MS Teams, and establishing the bridge, the collaboration channels. If you want an external collaboration channel, you can invite multiple users. Now the best part is, in a crisis, you would not only want your SOC team to be involved, but let's say the legal team, the marketing team, the IT team, all of them can come on board in a crisis and become a part of the investigation. That's the beauty, and that's actually the requirement of a real crisis that this solution allows to explore. So that's the info center. Let's go into the dashboard, right? It gives the users, and particularly the execs, right? Let's say the admins, the SOC admins, the CISOs, a very quick view into what's happening. How are we placed? This is a crisis. Give me what summary do you have? So it gives you some highlights into how much time has elapsed, what critical assets are impacted, artifacts, the threat types being investigated in a very quick visual way. It also gives you the summary, the current statuses, where are we, how many systems have been infected, where are we, what emails have gone out, etc. And if you scroll down, it carries with it all the incident alerts, indicators, assets that are part of this war room. It's a very healthy summary that is being presented. Quickly moving on to the other parts, the task management, right? Any crisis needs, for a structure, it needs very good task management going on. As you can see, a full-blown task management interface is presented to inside the war room, where you can quickly assign tasks to all of your team members, and not only your team members, you can assign tasks to multiple other team members outside of your team, as we saw earlier, right? So for example, you can see, quick how many tasks are in progress, what's my block task, how many tasks are completed. So that's one usage of it. The other is setting up this task list based on an existing standard, for example, NIST, right? For example, one of the completed tasks is, creating this task list based on the incident handling guide that NIST provides. All of that can be automatically created, right? My task list based on the type of alert or the nature of alert, right? It can automatically be populated. So my task management also can be automated to a large extent. Very, very important part of the war room and any crisis, basically. Moving on very, very quickly, it takes me on to the investigate section, right? Where most of the collaboration would happen, the root cause would be detected, and there would be a lot of evidences collected, etc. So let's look at quickly what this offers me. First up, a very visual way of how my incident alerts, vulnerabilities, assets, everything is placed in a visual way. So I can play around, I can understand what's going on, I can switch views, right? So I can do a lot of different things. And bottom, I see, what are my assets? I can quickly take some actions here if I want to. For example, if these are critical assets, maybe I can run a patch on them, right? I can see deploy a specified patch using my integrations. If there are indicators that I'm looking at, maybe I can quickly, block something that is still remaining. For example, this file hash. Maybe I want to do a block on my FortiGates. I want to a blacklist on my FortiSIEM. I can do a lot of these, right? I can block this file. I can get the latest reputation. So I can do a bunch of things that are available to me. Not only that, I can quickly and dynamically fire actions. For example, if I want to, as I said, block something, I can take a FortiGate integration. For example, let's take up a FortiGate integration and say block a URL. I can quickly do that here. And since I'm at this screen, let me also talk about another highlight of the release, which is assigning roles to each action of a connector. So now I can go ahead and say that my block URL action in FortiGate is not available to everyone, right? It is only available to certain team members, certain people in my team who have that privilege in the role, right? So I can even go and assign my roles to an action level within a connector. So that's an interesting use case, an interesting addition to the release itself. Okay, back to our story. So I can fire these actions dynamically apart from the pre-decided playbooks that I have, and everything that I'm doing, right? Note that I can tag them as an evidence and automatically populate my evidence section here. So as you see, a lot of evidences have been collected. I can manually upload evidences here, as screenshots, as files, and etc. Right? All of that happening, I have my full-blown collaboration section going on here, where I can speak to analysts, I can tag them, I can reply, I can create threads, right? I can do all of that. I can tag comments as important. You can mark comments as sensitive. You can filter your own comments, etc. You can do a bunch of things, and it's a full-blown collaboration section that is provided to us. Quickly moving on to the last section here, which is the communication section. Basically, taking care of the reporting, taking care of the next steps, the visibility, and a lot of different things, right? For example, here I have different fields that are giving me the status update, the summary, the status, the next steps, how is everything going. I can maybe, if I want to, I can keep changing these things, and I can quickly generate reports, as you see. And these reports can be downloaded as a PDF, or I can quickly send an email update. Now, the email update would go to all my response team if I want to, or if not, I can choose custom recipients that I would want to send this update to, and I can optionally attach the War Room summary report. Now, the summary report is an editable report, but by default, it offers the complete summary, the evidence, history, the task management, the pending tasks, and a lot of different things in a very well-defined report, right? So you have the option of editing the report, obviously, but that's the email update that you can send, and you can schedule that as well. Now, apart from that, you have the option of sending ad hoc emails to a lot of different participants or people who are outside the war room, and for say some reason you want to reach out to them. Hey, Mark, can you help me out? Can you, let's say Mark is from the IT team, you want to send an email, you say, hey, instead of going to the email client, you say add here, and you define mark@myorg.com, and you write the email. You can see a very well designed email send form is presented to you. You can attach files here and you say send, or create that email. So that will send the email, and you have the whole communication back and forth documented very well for you, right? And last but not the least, you have the whole audit trail maintained for you automatically, which you can use as and when needed for the visibility and legal documentation aspect of the war room, right? So a very quick run through of the war room itself. We believe this solution will be a game changer in this release, and we are excited to see how multiple teams adapt to that. So now, having spoken about the war room, let's quickly jump into a very interesting addition in this release, which is very well tied to the collaboration aspect that we just talked about, and particularly in the sense of crisis management, right? So this addition is about FortiSOAR mobile app that is coming on Android and iOS platform. So let's quickly look into that. Okay, so FortiSOAR comes as part of the FortiExplorer application, and we will start by quickly adding a FortiSOAR app. Okay, so once the app is added, you can start seeing all your alerts, incident indicators flowing into the mobile app, where you have a quick way to see your alerts, your assignments, and work with them, right? There's a custom navigation. You can also define and pull in your custom modules. Let's look into one of the alerts and see how you can work with them. Let's open this one. Important process staying down. Let's change the assignment to a different assignee. Let's trigger some playbooks. Since it's a process alert, let me just fetch some more process details. So now I'm triggering a playbook, right? So the playbook's triggered. I can have the playbook make the required changes to it in case there is an urgency to do something. Not only that, I have all my approvals available to me in the mobile app, right? It's on the go approvals. All my approvals listed here. I can go into one of them and say, hey, I want to approve this request on the fly, on the go. And yes, so I have my approvals also coming in as part of my whole flow. As you see, we would like to strongly believe that this app coming out on both iOS and Android platforms would become a very handy tool in the hand of analysts to take critical actions when and where needed. With that, now let's turn and look towards a very valuable addition in this release, which is of the connector builder wizard, a much asked for feature. And let's quickly look at how you can now very easily build connectors within the interface itself. So let me start by building a new connector. So you would be presented the connector builder wizard, and we can start by defining our own connector first. Now, as you can very easily see, this is a very visually oriented way of designing a connector. So here I can upload my logos, my connector name, my, the version of the connector, the description. I can select templates. Let's say my custom connector, custom. I'm quickly just filling in some details to just move ahead. This is my connector, and I say continue. I'm then presented based on my template that I've selected, which was threat intel. In this case, I am presented the configuration options that are good fit with that type of template. I can change them, I can quickly edit them, or if it looks good to me, I can quickly say yes, I want to create this connector. I would then be taken into an explorer view where a lot of my connector code is already pre-written for me based on the inputs I've provided. Even the actions have been created based on the templates that I've chosen. I can quickly go ahead and maybe just edit whatever I want to. For example, maybe some API fields, the REST API endpoints that I want to change, some other additions that I want to make, and quickly build my connector. Also note that you have the complete test framework that is provided to you. You can test the configuration, you can test the actions, right? You can do all of that within the interface. So it's a very robust framework and allows you both ends of the spectrum. Visually build the connector and then gives out the interface to you, the developer interface to you to make changes as required, right? So now you'll have this interface to build connectors very easily. Not only that, you also can edit the existing connectors. You have a workspace available now where all your custom connectors, the connectors that you've forked would be available in a dedicated section. Quickly, let me also go through how you can edit an existing connector. So let's say I have my Fortinet FortiAnalyzer connector and I have a new API or maybe some change in the action that I want to do for some reason. I can now have the edit option. I can say, yes, I want to edit this connector. Yes, I want to make a local copy of the connector, right? So I can bump up the version 1.4.0 and I say create, right? So it will fork the connector, present the connector code to me, and I can, as I talked about earlier, you can easily change, add things. Maybe I want to add a different action to it. I can quickly add and continue building my connector in this way. Having said that, let me quickly jump onto the last part of this demonstration, which is the FortiSOAR extension on FortiManager and FortiAnalyzer. Okay, as you can see, I'm now into FortiManager, and let's quickly load the management extensions where you would see now FortiSOAR featuring in as one of the management extensions. Let's click FortiSOAR, and immediately within the FortiManager's interface, within the same experience, you're now brought into FortiSOAR. So now you're running FortiSOAR within FortiManager, and you can imagine you can use the entire power of the solution, the orchestration, the automation, running playbooks, managing your feeds, feed automation, and all the variety of use cases that you want to do. You can leverage reporting. You can do a bunch of stuff now. So that's the power of the SOAR now being available not only on FortiManager but also on FortiAnalyzer starting 7.0. Thank you. And as we look forward to this exciting release, we love to get your feedback to make this even better and bigger. Thank you.